Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. I am AdamMcKola, and as you see, my face is a little bit swollen right now. I'm looking like Kanye in through the wire, and that's because I've got stitches in my mouth. I've had a wisdom tooth removed, but we are going to keep plugging away, and we are going to bring you the latest on Manchester United's ownership. Now, obviously, the Glazers are looking to sell the club. There's a soft deadline of this Friday for any bids to come in. Now, by soft deadline, it means, if the bid that they want to come in doesn't come in by that day, they will remain open to bids. But they have told potential bidders they want their bids by that point. And now we're hearing rumours about the Emir of Qatar. We're hearing rumours about Elon Musk. We're hearing rumours about Ineos. We are hearing a whole load of rumours about Manchester United's next owners. Now, what is clear is it will become more clear in the coming days and week. We'll learn more about who those bidders are. But until then, we can only rely on these reports, and we'll be getting stuck into them very shortly. But before we do that, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, you're liking, commenting, and sharing as well. Get involved in the comments below on your thoughts on the ownership. I know a lot of people have varying opinions on this one. I know a lot of people are worried about who Manchester United might end up in the hands of, and others don't care as long as we're able to spend the money that we create. And yeah, just get your thoughts in those comments below, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking in this video. But let's get stuck into some of the stories that we are hearing. We hear that the Emir of Qatar is poised to offer more than $4 billion to buy Manchester United. Now, Qatar believes Glazers' asking price of $6 billion is excessive. We heard the Glazers set an asking price of between $5 to $6 billion for Man United, and the Qatari Emir is expected to bid before Friday's soft deadline. This story goes on to say that Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, is expected to make a bid of more than $4 billion for Man United by Friday's deadline, with those driving the purchase for the country's ruler valuing the club at no more than $4.5 billion. The Glazer family, who owned United, have set an asking price of $6 billion. Now, when you set an asking price, you're probably expecting bids to come a little bit below that. You renegotiate, you bring things up, and that's probably where the Glazer family stand, and where any potential bidders, they'll come in at 4, the Glazers will say we want 6, and they'll probably end up meeting at £5 billion or something like that. Ridiculous money. The Rain Group, which administered the Chelsea sale, is the financial advisor to the Glazers, and it is thought Friday is a soft deadline, meaning offers may be countenanced after that. The Emir owns Paris Saint-Germain via Qatar Sports Investments, and UEFA rules do not allow clubs that can meet in the same continental competition to have the same proprietor. A solution is being sought, the current one being to demonstrate that United would not be administered by the same structure and personnel as PSG. Now, you hear QSI, who are bidding who own Paris Saint-Germain, and then you've got this QI, like this Qatari Investment Committee or something like that. Now, the thing is, the Qatar Sports Investments is a subsidiary of Qatar Investment Committee, or whatever the name is, and both of those things are linked to the state. I don't want United to be state-owned. As much as I think the Qataris would come in and they'd spend on the club and all those things, which, as a football fan and on the pitch, it would be great for us. For me, I don't want to be state-owned. It's not based on nationality. If it's a Qatari businessman, if it's an American business, not Elon Musk, by the way. I don't want Elon Musk at Man United either. And this is the problem with these guys, these billionaires that you've got. You either end up in the hands of someone like the Glazers or potentially Ineos, who could put you in a load of debt, or you end up in the hands of a state who basically want to use you to sports wash and further any of their own agendas. And there's no real. Where do you end up here? Do you know what I mean? And that's where United are. It's ultimately going to be to the biggest bidder. We hear Jim Ratcliffe wants to make a bid through Ineos, but we hear Ineos would be linked to some big banks and be getting. And I know people that know more about finance than me may say that companies being in debt is kind of good for their tax benefits and all these kind of different things. But I don't want United to be bought by a company that is then going to be putting themselves into $1 billion plus debt. Ultimately, that's going to have to come from somewhere. Let's say this Premier League bubble bursts, this TV bubble bursts, and all these things, and Manchester United needs to somehow pay that cash back, and we can't. Where does that... And although that debt will be on Ineos will own United, that will affect us. So we're in between a rock and a hard place at the minute. Where we're going to end up. I know some guys and girls and United fans don't mind the Qataris coming in. They don't mind being state-backed as long as the money's spent. You know what? Whatever you want in it. But for me personally, I don't want to be state-owned. Whether that's owned by the American state, the British state, the Qatari state, the Saudi Arabian state. I don't want to be like City, like Newcastle. And I especially believe, all right, United probably don't have the $2 billion to be able to get a new stadium. But all right, cool, Old Trafford's all right. I believe Manchester United create so much money that they should be able to fund themselves. We don't need a sugar daddy. We don't need stupid investment like that. Do you know what I mean? And if this club's allowed to invest the money that it makes into itself, we'd be in a fine position. But I think we will eventually end up probably in the Qataris' hands. I think they'll look to buy the club. They'll probably be the biggest bidder. They've got the most money. And that's probably where we'll end up. And the thing for the fans is that aren't happy with that, we won't be able to stop it. Just like we couldn't stop the Glazers taking over. Just like they didn't stop taxing Watch taking over City. You know, you've seen some owners take over clubs. The Venkis at Blackburn, where you look at them states taking over Newcastle and City and I know the Premier League aren't responsible for PSG, but nothing was done to prevent that. Nothing's done to prevent these things because ultimately the Premier League and the British government and all that will want to benefit from that money. You look at things like Harrods and all that. That's already got, huge, Qatar state investment and ownership in some of those places. So Manchester United Football Club is going to be no different to Harrods in the eyes of the British government. And United will end up in state hands. And I just... Because then you're linked to everything that state does on a geopolitical, on a political basis, on a human rights. You're just linked to that state. It's not a good position to be in. And for us United fans that have criticised Newcastle and all that, and City, we'd be hypocrites to not say the same thing now, just because it's going to benefit us. Nevertheless, it's just like with the Glazers, I think I'd still be going to Old Trafford and that, but you think you'd catch me doing what City fans are doing with the banners about their owners and that, and all that kind of stuff? No chance. I wouldn't stoop to that at all. But the love of your football club means people are going to watch regardless of who's in the director's box and all that. Sad state of affairs. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like and comment and sharing and subscribing. Keep it locked. And we'll be back soon. See you in a bit.